What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back to Knicks Daily channel. I want to ask, do me a favor before we start anything. If you could do me a favor and like the video, subscribe to the channel so that you're aware of any time I drop new content, I go live, or we just get on here to talk our talk. I was trying to take a little bit of break because I'm getting acclimated to work and I really want to focus and get off to a good start. But I keep getting pulled back in by some headlines. And I'm laughing. But I'm also getting tight. I ain't even gonna lie, I ain't even gonna hold you. I be getting tight. So apparently, many of these NBA players, these new age and old age, because they new age still to my generation, NBA players, who now I was applauding because they took this opportunity to take back their narrative and create podcasts on their own, because they also had gripes with the major media as we Knicks fans did. They're actually taking tools out of the major media toolbox and they're Knicks for clicks in their bag. So they're doing little things to poke and prod at New York Knicks fans in order to get views and to sensationalize and to get people talking about their podcasts.
Y'all can't beat my ass.
Ain't that some ish? So I had to get on here and address it and talk my talk. I had to get on here and address it and talk my talk. Bro, I keep telling you, this generation gets upset when comparisons are made to the 90s. They get upset. I mean, they legitimately get upset. And it starts with their uber star, LeBron James. Nobody likes to be compared to the 90s because they know that there is no comparison to the 90s when you're talking about any generation that's come afterwards, outside of Kobe and Tim Duncan's generation. No comparison. No comparison whatsoever. And it frustrates them. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to do little things to diminish. I don't know. Let me just explain. So it started off with your boy Haliburton. All right? And I'm telling you this, he's emboldened by you mother flipping Knicks fans who continue to complain about not drafting Halliburton. Stop it. Stop it. And you new age Knicks fans, you know, like, yo, let go of the trauma. I hate using that word trauma. I don't think it should apply for guys. And that's just me. Say what you will in the comments. I don't care. But I think when you're using that word too much, listen, anyway, I'll be using it today, goddamn it, I'll be a hypocrite. These, Halliburton, all right, bruh, passed on you in the draft. All right, cool. We passed on you. Okay? Oh, you heard Knicks fans talking about his shot is broken or whatever have you. So, bet. Are you going to use that to fuel you to greatness? Bet, cool. You and Iman Shumpert, bet, use that. Just use it when you see us. And if you have success against us, round of applause, congratulations. Okay. So then you go on and say, oh, yeah. So, you know, every time I face them, you know, or I got it on a bulletin board. I keep Post-it notes or whatever. Ninja, who cares? Who you think you are? What have you done in the league? What have you done in the league that will make us think that we should be concerned about you keeping Post-it notes about how New York Knicks fans talked about we didn't want you because your jump shot was broken? What have you done to make us concerned, to make us shiver in our boots? And this is what I'm getting back to the new age Knicks fan. Y'all doing it. Oh my God, we got to be quiet, this, that, and the third, because Halliburton's going to give us. No, the Ninja has never showed any sign that he's that player. None. We have a greater chance of Julius going into Indiana and giving them 50. So what's our New York Knicks fans nervous about? Talk to me about that. And if you don't believe me, look around. Because some of them is just like, yeah, you know, oh my God, now Haliburton. What? Who is Haliburton? Come into the Garden and drop 55 on us and let us be a 50-win team while you're doing it, and then I'll be concerned. And then, these young players, this generation is trying so hard to create the narrative, to create themselves as an all-star player. Y'all used to the video game. Y'all buying VCs and you increasing your overall ratings by yourself without earning it. Without earning it. You want to be known as a Nick killer. There ain't no Nick killers. There are no Nick killers in this generation like that. Oh, shit, what about Trae Young? I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you asked. Because this man is sitting on the sensitive couch on Draymond Green's podcast. And Draymond's trying to be big brother. It reminded me of the J. Cole and Little Pump. It reminded me of the J. Cole and Little Pump interview on the couch, where he said F J. Cole, and he brought him on. He was just like, yo, I'm just trying to get to the bottom of how you feel, why you feel that way, young bro. And it was a big brother, little brother type of thing. So he gets on this podcast and traded and initiated, but you can tell that this topic stemmed from the conversation that Trae must have had with Draymond about his frustration about wanting a clean start and not wanting the label of being a villain. So Draymond felt the need to have to step out there and call it what it is. Knicks fans, they delusional and they miserable. Okay? So you want to get out in front of this story and say it because your punk little brother didn't have the heart to say it himself. Everybody wants to be Reggie Miller. Everybody wants to watch YouTube and New York Knicks highlights. Everybody wants to be on that stage, but you don't want what comes with it. You don't want what comes with it. Everybody wants to be Reggie Miller and bow on the court, but nobody wants those expectations now that you got to prove it. That you can't just do it against a very mediocre, non-talented New York Knicks team in the playoffs that was well coached and play hard, because that's what got us there. Everybody knew going into that we didn't have firepower, especially at the point guard position, although some people did pull for us because of the way we performed against Atlanta during the regular year. They were pulling for us to win. They were predicting that we would win. And you did your thing. But you did your thing against 2 point guards who ain't have scoring ability. The team that, was getting injured. You know what I mean? A team who, the stars who powered us throughout the regular season, that was their first experience in New York. It's easy to play in Atlanta and step up and do all that. But you don't got Madison Square Garden as your home court. But everybody want to talk about, he's the villain now. You want to bow and you want to hit the shush sign and you want to talk about Ice Trae. Nobody was talking that talk when you was talking about Ice Trae. You wasn't saying that when they was calling you Ice Trae and you was wearing the damn sneakers that said King of Broadway. You wanted that smoke. But you didn't know what came with that smoke. And now that NBA fans, everybody saw you. It was a look at me moment, as it always is for every player who tries to come in and crap on Knicks fans. What you didn't expect is for the Knicks to get a point guard and for them to get direction and for them to become solid as a team top to bottom again and to be a headache. Now you can't do that no more. Now you can't do that now that we have multiple scorers on the team. You can't do that no more. Now you can't do that no more that we have cohesion and these young players are maturing and coming to their own and we have consistency. You can't do that no more. And now you don't want that label. Oh, the villain. I never asked for that. Knicks fans started it. Come on, B. Come on, B. Nah, son. Nah, you wildin'. Come on, B. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
I always laugh at Draymond, bruh. Let's keep it real, bro. If you wasn't on Klay and Steph team, you wouldn't have no championships. Period. You're probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. And people was talking about if Dennis Rodman played in the league today, he wouldn't be better than Draymond Green. Really, bruh? Anyway, that's a whole different story. But, Draymond is going to try to say what he wants to say because he has that little he's the Charles Barkley of today in terms of being a mouthpiece. But pluck him off of one team, put him on another, he'll be Pat Bev. He'll be Patrick Beverly. That's it. But it's comical. It's just comical, this generation, bro. It's comical. And now that the New York Knicks are up, now that they made a respectful run last year, a first year after missing a year in the playoffs. They did themselves well. They represented themselves well. People don't like it. This is why I'm like, Knicks fans, don't seek approval from nobody. Don't listen to nobody. Expect the haters to come out. And the haters are going to come out in several ways. They're going to criticize our players. They're going to watch us and watch our content. And they're going to figure out who we don't like and who we criticize on our own team. And then they're going to start targeting them. That's going to be the first thing. They're going to target the players that the New York Knicks fans are targeting. And then they're going to cheer for the players and try to advocate for the players that New York Knicks fans are targeting. So they're going to do both. Because I'm telling you, that's what FS1 and ESPN are doing right now. They'll pick a player and they'll espouse his greatness. And then that same player, you'll have another personality on that network downplay him. So this way you get views on both sides. Those people who don't like the player or they like the player, you're getting views. And that's exactly what podcasters are doing now, these former players. So that's one. Secondly, they're going to talk about the coach. They're going to continue to talk about how Tibbs ain't the right guy, how Tibbs didn't make adjustments. These are talking points that many people in Knick Nation have. I don't understand it if you ask me yourself. Listen, I don't care how you feel about your pilot. If y'all in the middle of the air, you going to complain about him? Wait till this man land the plane and then leave the company and then talk about him. Why will you talk about the pilot that's flying your ship while you're in the air? I don't get it. That's whack to me. But they're going to listen. And they're going to use that to justify the type of New York Knicks toxicity they're saying we have. That's another thing. And next, they're going to talk about the organization. Oh, you don't know how to draft or they missed this play, this play. Well, I got news for you. Any player who wasn't selected after the number one pick, there were other teams that missed on that same player. How many teams passed on Haliburton? How many teams passed on Haliburton? But yet he's talking about New York. Why you got our names in your mouths? That's when you know something is going right for you New York Knicks fans. Because these players can't keep our names out their mouths. And it's specifically saying Knicks fans when you got fan bases like Boston saying F Draymond. When you got fan bases like Utah, giving hell to Russell Westbrook. So, but I'm telling you, when you're on the upswing, when things are going right, when they can't keep our names out of their mouths. And interestingly enough, one thing they won't point out is that those fan bases in Boston, some of those boos can go another way. Those fan bases in Utah, some of those boos can go another way. Now, New York, there was that idiot fan who spat at him. Man, listen, he had every right for all of his security or whoever to go punch that whoever that was in the face. Because that's not what we do. And you know it had to be a young kid because that's that generation. Knicks fans who are the ones making content, etc., we're in a different demographic. We don't do that. And the key about it is, it's funny because Trae and Draymond is on there talking about, oh, being a villain ain't fun. It ain't fun and this what. And it started in New York with New York saying, yo, this is how you know these cats want to talk about being Reggie Miller, but they don't want the smoke. They don't want, it's different. Why don't you go talk to Reggie Miller? Because I tell you this much, he wrote an article. He was interviewed, and in this article he said, what people don't realize is when New York does that, it's the highest form of respect. They respect your game. They know that you're good and that you come in and you have that ability. So that back and forth between a player who has that ability to step up in pressure situations and snatch the heart out of the team, snatch victory out of the jaws of defeat. And when New York fans boo you, they respect the fact that you came into their house and you took that win. So he's like, that's the ultimate respect. When years later, he can do games inside of the Garden and people still come up and dap him up, but it was just like, yo, we still don't F with you. And he'll sit there and be like, well, I don't do that. I don't with you either. That's why it's a different response with Richard Jefferson. He ain't never do nothing. He was never that player. He was a role player. He was never that player on a team. Don't get it twisted. He was a role player, riding the coattails of Kenyon Martin and Jason Kidd and Kerry Kittles. He's a fake Kerry Kittles. That's it. This generation is off the chain. It's comical, but it's frustrating at the same time because it's just like, yo, keep our name out your mouth, bro. We sitting here catching strays. And I know their argument was, he was trying to do the same thing, and Knicks fans would be playing other games in other arenas, and out of nowhere they'll break out in a F Trae Young chant. Yo, that's because we never forget. That's what that is. We never forget when you come in and you try to do the little ice tray thing. Now, we ain't forgetting that. You're going to bow in front of us. You're going to tell us to shut the F up. We'll see you in the A. We remember all that because now we got backup. Y'all was also talking your talk when you got DeJounte Murray. You remember that? You was big before y'all got a chance to get on the floor together. Y'all was talking big talk because you thought you had backup. You took the guy who the New York Knicks had their eye on, and now he was on your squad. So y'all thought, oh, okay, we reloaded. So that first game when you came in, you know what I mean? It was you realized that we got reloaded too. Oh yeah, we brought us in a point guard. So you could still get your theatrics and get your scoring, but you also got to deal on the defensive end. Both of you. Okay? So that was nullified. And even, come on, man. And it's funny because when Draymond will say a statement like, New York Knicks fans are delusional. New York Knicks fans are they miserable. Why do y'all think that is? If that were true, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? It's so funny. Y'all don't want nobody to, you don't want Knicks fans to fight back. Y'all want to get on your podcast and get on there and talk about, oh yeah, started with the Knicks fans and disrespectful, whatever have you. Y'all want to do all that because y'all feel that's your means of fighting back. But you want Knicks fans to shut the F up and not say anything. You don't want us to say anything when ESPN is looping Knicks jokes. When they got players on there talking about Knicks fans, when you got Richard Jefferson, Rachel Nichols, Malika Andrews and them laughing. You got all them cats on there all the time, locked in the middle of the target on Knicks fans. But y'all want to let that go because it's good TV. When you got movies such as Soul, an animated cartoon movie, and they got a clip in there talking about the New York Knicks fans and the New York Knicks team and how they're bad. When you got Dan Rather on a sports show, taking shots at the New York Knicks fans, you don't say nothing about that. when you have Richard Jefferson and LeBron James and Kyrie Irving bottle flipping on Madison Square Garden floor, the number one face of the NBA over the last 20 years, bottle flipping on the New York Knicks floor while the game is still being played and you up by a great deal. But in another game, he's going to get mad at a younger player because they're up and they're dancing on the Lakers, and he's talking about, oh, I don't play that. Oh, you don't play that now. Now that you old as hell and your team is mid, now you don't play that disrespect when they're running up the score and they dancing, but you bottle flipping when you got a 20-point lead in Madison Square Garden. What is it going to be? So Draymond and Trae and all you other cats, all you Knicks fans who feel the same way, you want to talk about why we are going so hard now that our team is showing promise and our organization is showing promise of making solid strategic moves, making sound, smart decisions, and putting us in a position to have long-term sustainable winning. You want to talk about why we talking our talk right now? That's what it is. Keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there's no struggle, there's no progress, and we're in the progress period. Understand this. Everybody eats here in Knicks Deli. Sheer brilliance. I'm out. Peace.